Bowser. Everybody loves him, right? But a question I've always wondered since the beginning, just how big is Bowser's army? I mean, it could be in the millions, the thousands, you never know. But today, I am going to give my estimate on how big I think Bowser's army could be. You're probably wondering, how did I do that exactly? Well, the only thing that I did was count every single enemy in the entire game. But that's by a short stick. What I did instead is count every enemy in World 1. And oh boy, this took a long time, but I finally got it done today. And I'm going to show you how big is Bowser's army by an estimate. Now, before we go on to the counting, we must establish what an enemy is. The way I'm going to describe it is a living being in the game that attacks you and is supposed to do mortal damage to you. So yes, that does mean we are going to count the Koopalings as well. What I will not be counting, however, is the enemies that come out of the pipe, because they'll just go on forever and forever. And we don't want that. I will also not be counting the overworld enemies. Yeah, the enemies that are supposed to stop you midway and mostly succeed. And you have to collect all those toad balloons. Yeah, we get it. Those are the two things I will not be counting in this video. That being said, let's go over all the levels. And reminder, we are only talking about World 1 here. Don't expect me to do the other worlds at any moment. Let's take a look over the levels. Level 1 has overall 24 enemies. Pretty good. Until level 2 comes around with 29. That's pretty good as well. Until you get to level 3, which overall has 37 enemies. And surprisingly, the mid castle has only 7 enemies. Yeah, probably the least amount of enemies in this whole video. Another reminder I am doing, because I'm counting the Koopalings, I will only be counting them once. For example, there's a mid castle and the normal castle, which you fight at the end. But even though there are 2 enemies you fight in those, I will only be counting them as one separate enemy. Larry, in this case. Moving on to level 4, 68 enemies. This was the worst one to deal with because there are so many fish in the water level. World 5 surprisingly has 9 enemies. Yeah. Level 6's total amount is 21. And the final castle has an overall number of 20. Now let me just add all these numbers up. Holy crap, 215. Yeah. And if you see and think that's big, ho! When you multiply that number 8 times, which is the amount of worlds that are on this game, you get an overall number of 1,720. Yeah! We're not freaking around on this show. And believe me, the number could be even higher than that. Simply because this is just an estimate. Who knows, maybe another person will one day redo this and look at all the worlds and actually take their time to do this. If you do, link me the video in the comments. Now, we did only look at New Super Mario Bros. Wii because that's one of my favorite games ever. And if you want to see more of the show, let me know in the comments.